The sterile lights of the animal hospital flickered as a weak German shepherd lay motionless on the table. His fur was gray, his breath shallow. But when everyone thought it was over, he lifted his head and howled. It wasn't a sound of pain. It was longing. The staff froze as the old K9 stared at the door, eyes filled with hope. He was waiting for someone he hadn't seen in years. Miles away, retired Officer Mark woke suddenly, heart pounding. A familiar echo ringing in his ears. "Rex," he whispered into the darkness. That same moment, the old dog howled. Again, softer, desperate, as if reaching across the distance. He wasn't giving up, not until his partner came back. Before we start, make sure to hit like, share, and subscribe. And really, I'm curious where you're watching from. Drop your country name in the comments. I love seeing how far our stories travel. The faint hum of medical machines filled the quiet room as an elderly German shepherd lay curled on a soft blue blanket, his one strong frame the same body that had chased criminals and saved lives now trembled with every breath. The tag on his worn collar read Rex K9 unit. His fur was graying, his eyes cloudy, but behind that fading gaze was the soul of a warrior who never stopped serving. Nurses moved gently around him, checking his fore, whispering softly as if afraid to disturb a legend. Yet Rex didn't react. He hadn't eaten in days. He hadn't barked, wagged his tail, or lifted his head, except to glance at the door every few minutes, waiting for someone who never came. Dr. Emily, the attending vet, sighed as she knelt beside him. "He's not giving up because of age," she whispered, stroking his head. "He's waiting for someone." Outside, rain began to fall against the window, soft and steady. Rex closed his eyes, breathing shallowly, his mind drifting somewhere between the past and the present. Every faint sound of footsteps made his ears twitch. Deep down, he still believed his partner would walk through that door just like he always did. Night settled over the animal clinic, the halls lit only by the faint glow of monitors. Most of the staff had gone home, leaving only Dr. Emily and one nurse to watch over Rex. For hours, he hadn't moved until suddenly his body trembled. His ears twitched, his chest expanded, and then a sound broke through the stillness, did deep echoing howled I. T wasn't a sound of pain. It was sorrow, the kind that came from memory, from love that hadn't faded. The howl filled the corridor, rising and falling like a plate. Tears welled in the nurse's eyes. "He's calling for someone," she whispered. Emily knelt beside him, hand trembling as she stroked his fur. "He's not ready to go," she murmured. "He's waiting." They searched his old medical file and discovered something they'd never noticed before. His tag number traced back to a former police handler. Officer Mark Stevens, retired, last known. Address 3 towns away. Emily picked up the phone, her voice low but urgent. If he's still alive, he deserves to know. Rex lifted his head once more, staring at the door with tired, hopeful eyes. And as another soft howl escaped him, everyone in the room knew this was no ordinary goodbye. The phone rang just past midnight, jolting Officer Mark from a restless sleep. He blinked at the screen, frowning at the unknown number. "Hello," he muttered groggy. A soft voice answered. "Is this Mark Stevens? I'm Dr. Emily from Riverstone Animal Clinic. I believe we have your OK9 partner." For a long moment, Mark couldn't speak. His heart stuttered. Rex, he whispered. Yes, Emily said, gently. He's very weak, but he's been howling for you. I think he's waiting. Mark sat up, disbelief turning to a flood of emotion. The years melted away. The missions, the gunfire, the night Rex was injured and disappeared in chaos. He blamed himself every single day. He didn't even grab his jacket. Within minutes, he was in his truck, speeding through the rain-sick roads, memories flashing with every mile. The radio crackled softly, but all he could hear was Rex's bark, that fierce, loyal sound that once meant everything as the miles vanished beneath his tires. Mark's grip tightened on the steering wheel. Hold on, partner, he said through tears. I'm coming. Far away in a quiet clinic room, Rex stirred. His ears twitched. Somehow, across the distance, he knew his human had heard his call. The clinic door swung open just as dawn's first light brushed the windows. Officer Mark stepped inside, drenched from the rain, heart pounding like it used before a mission. The moment the air shifted, Rex's ears twitched. His tail thumped weakly against the blanket. Doctor, Emily looked up, her voice trembling. He's been waiting for you. Mark took a slow step forward, then another, his eyes filling with tears. Hey, buddy, he whispered. The old dogs had lifted, cloudy eyes locking onto the voice he'd waited years to hear. And then, with a sound halfway between a whine and a cry, Rex tried to stand. His legs wobbled, but his determination was stronger than his body. Mark dropped to his knees, catching him in his arms. It's okay, boy. I'm here. I'm right here. His voice cracked, his uniform damp from both rain and tears. Rex pressed his muzzle against Mark's chest, breathing in the familiar scent. His partner, his family. The room fell silent except for their shallow breaths. Every nurse nearby wiped their eyes. Mark held Rex close, whispering, You did good, partner. You did so good. Rex's tail wagged once, faint but full of meaning. His eyes closed, resting peacefully for first time in years. He had waited. He had howled. And now, finally, his human was home. The hours that followed were quiet, tender, and heavy with emotion. Mark stayed by Rex's side, refusing to leave, even for a moment. The clinic, lights dimmed as the night staff whispered, giving them space. Mark sat on the floor beside his old partner, one hand resting gently on Rex's paw. He began to talk, not as an officer, but as a friend. Remember that night on the bridge? He murmured, smiling through tears. You pulled me out before the truck exploded. You never left me then, and I should have never left you. His voice cracked, but he continued telling stories of their missions, their triumphs, their laughs in the back of the patrol car after long shifts. Rex's eyes followed his every word, calm and full of trust. Every now and then, he let out a soft breath, pressing his paw weakly against Mark's arm as if saying, I remember day as dawn crept through the blinds. Rex's breathing slowed. Mark leaned closer, his hand trembling. It's okay, buddy, he whispered. You can rest now. You've done your duty. Rex let out one final exhale, deep, peaceful, complete. His body stilled, his paw still resting in Mark's hand. Tears fell freely down Mark's face as he whispered, Goodbye, my hero. The silence that followed wasn't empty. It was sacred, filled with the echoes of loyalty that even death couldn't erase. A week later, the police department stood still under the morning sun. Officers lined the courtyard in solemn silence as a flag-draped casket rested on a small platform. The name plate read, Rex K9 Unit, 12 years of Service. Mark stood front and center in. Full uniform, his eyes hidden behind. Dark glasses,